Hello guys, and welcome to another how-to video. Today we're going to look at the Bank of Hagenstedt, which is a mod that's available under the in-game mod hub. When I first saw this mod come out, I really wasn't sure exactly what it did, how it behaved. I knew from postings on the forums that it was supposed to give us the ability to borrow more than the in-game amount of $300,000. But some of the other details I was a little fuzzy on. I was under the impression that you could maybe buy fields, maybe sell fields, and then leasing fields was a new concept that I quite didn't understand. I did not play Farming Simulator 15, so I did not have experience with this mod under FS 15. So I took the mod out and gave it a little spin, and I have to say that I'm really enjoying the mod. It's really a game changer for me. It's probably going to be something that I use in all of my maps going forward. And really, I'm surprised that some of the aspects of this mod were not included in the base game. So let's talk about where the Bank of Hagenstedt differs from the base game. So in the base game, you can borrow up to $300,000, and that is it. With some of these tractors costing in the neighborhood of $300,000 themselves, being able to borrow $300,000 really wasn't that useful. You look at these harvesters, and again, they're pretty costly. So if you're in a pinch and you really need to buy something, a harvester or a big tractor, you're pretty much stuck with just 300,000 and really just working your way, grinding away, trying to earn some money. With the Bank of Hagenstedt, you can take out a loan as much as $10 million, and you can also um, borrow. You can basically sell your fields. So let's say you start a map and you have, let's say the map starts you out with 10 fields, and it's really way more fields than you can manage with the starting equipment initially. So you may decide to sell 5 of those fields at the start to get a nice little pad of cash to upgrade some equipment or just basically have some spending money should you so wish. In the base game, you can't do that. If you knew how to edit the XML files, then you could probably go in and change ownership to take away ownership of some fields, but that really wouldn't give you any money. You could cheat in some money and basically pretend that you sold the fields, but did you cheat in the right amount? Did you care to figure out how much the land values were? Did you figure out how big the fields you were going to sell were? So it's pretty much just a guessing game if you're going to try to give some level of realism. Also in the Bank of Hagenstedt, you can lease a field. So leasing was a concept that I wasn't really sure how it functioned. I did a search on the internet for Bank of Hagenstedt and Farming Simulator 17, and you know what I got? I got a whole lot of nothing. Pretty much, I got a couple YouTube videos of people giving 5-minute reviews of this mod. They really didn't go into any details. Um, so it was really just left to me to install the mod and give it a spin and see what I thought. So let's pull up the interface. Now the default key binding is the end key. I've remapped mine because I had something else to the end. So I set mine to be Shift 4, which if you look at the keyboard is the $sign. So for me, I just shift money sign and there's the bank loan. So I'm doing this how-to video on normal mode. So under the main screen here, we see that we have a bank balance at $20,000. We have a loan of $75,000. The bank will give us a line of credit up to $300,000. And we have negative $55,000 of net wealth. And that is simply because we only have $20,000 to our name and we have a $75,000 loan. So if we look up here under loan details, we're not really going to see much because we haven't taken a loan out with the credit union of Hagenstedt. We have no finance history since we just started this game. So let's take a look at edit loan. And this is where we're going to be able to take out some money using the credit union. What I want you to take notice of is the loan fees, the life of the loan, the overdraft period, and the interest rate. Now, when I first saw overdraft period, I thought, oh, cool. Will this mod let me buy something when I don't have money for it? You know, if I think about an overdraft and a checking account, then I think that, well, I wrote a check and I didn't have money for it, and the bank basically cashed a check, and I get an overdraft fee, and I get a whole lot of money taken out of my account, and I've got a negative balance, and I've got to deal with all those penalties. Well, I tried it, and it didn't quite work the way I thought. I tried to run my balance down low. I tried to buy something in the store, and it still wouldn't let me buy anything in the store. So, an overdraft period and the overdraft interest seems to be the number of days that you are allowed to carry the loan after the loan life has expired, and then the overdraft interest is the penalty that is added to the base interest rate once you get into the overdraft period. So let's tick the loan up and see how things change. So right now we're at 100,000. So at 200,000 our loan fees double. Okay, at 300,000 you see our loan fees are ticking up at $2,000 per 100,000. But all of a sudden now our life of the loan is 12 days. Okay. At 600,000 the life of the loan becomes 20 days, and we have a 4-day overdraft period, but we have 15% interest now. Okay, at 1,100,000 we have 5 overdraft days at 20% interest. Okay, so let's just so at 3 million we get a 40-day loan, but we have 30% overdraft interest. We seriously need to pay this thing off within 40 days, or we are going to be hurting very badly. So if we're going to be crazy and we're going to max out, we're going to take a $10 million loan. We're really only going to get 9,800,000 of that because of the loan fees. We're going to have 40 days to pay it off. We're going to have 7 days of overdraft after that, but we're going to be paying 35% interest per day on the amount of the loan that we still have not paid off. So we are going to be dying in interest payments. So let's roll this back to something real simple. Let's roll it back to $500,000. Let's go ahead and take this loan out. So now we have a $500,000 loan. All right, we have 510,000 in the bank because we had a $10,000 loan fee. Okay, we have 5% interest. We have 12 days to pay it off. We have 2 days of overdraft and 10% per day. Okay, and our bank line is the amount of our loan plus $300,000. So since we happen to have more in the bank than we took out, we have repaid the loan. So if we click this, we will have repaid the loan. We now only have 10,000 in the bank. Let's take a look. As you can see, we have 10,000 in the bank. Let's take out the loan again. So now we have exactly 500,000. If we repay the loan, now we have zero money. Okay. Let's take it out one more time. Now we only have $490,000. We can't repay the loan because we have less in the bank than we owe. Okay. All we can do is repay and borrow in $5,000 increments. Now I seriously would like to be able to put a different value in here to repay, because if I want to repay $100,000, I don't want to have to click this thing a gobs of time to do that. So that's one thing I would really like to see. If we look at our loan details, we just have a nice summary screen. We still have no finance history. Let's take a look at field management. So here we have Goldcrest Valley. We can see we own fields 12, 14, and 15. That's pretty normal. We can see the fields. We can see the prices. We can see the size. Okay. And now this price here, 3,700, is the lease price. So let's say we want to lease this field. We have now leasing this field. We, for all intents and purposes, own field 10 for the next 30 game days. Okay, if we hit cancel, then we no longer own the field. We no longer have access to the field. So I wouldn't hit cancel until you were done with the field. But we will now have a $3,700 a day fee for field 10. Okay, so we could also go here and let's say we really didn't want to own field 12. It was just something we didn't really want. Okay, so now we could sell it. We no longer own field 12. We could buy it back if we wanted. All right, so now we own field 12 again. Okay, so let's go ahead and exit our interface. Let's pull up the map. And let's just go here and we can see that we have field 10, field 12, 14, and 15 now selected as if we owned them. Okay. All right, if we look at the finance screen, we can see new fields. This is the lease payments and our buying and selling of that other field. And then we have 30,000 in loan interest, and those are our loan origination fees. Okay, so let's fast forward. We can also see up here in the status, if you see, it says field 10 was leased. If we wait a few moments, we should see that we sold field 12, and then we should see that we bought field 12. Almost on cue there. So let's go ahead and fast forward time through the night. All right, so there we have 3706 in rental fees, 28,750 in loan interest for day one. Let's fly through day two. Okay, there we have our 3,700 and our 28,750 again. Day three, 3706. I'll wait to let this catch up. $28,750. And one more day. And we'll just stop it right there for a moment. We'll let the game catch up. All right, so let's pull up the Bank of Hagenstedt interface again. So we see we have a bank balance of $316,000. We have a wealth of negative $258,000. Okay. All of this is still the same, except our bank balance. But we now have finance history. Okay. So here we are in day 5. This is the current day. And then we have days 1, 2, 3, and 4 that we can basically scroll through and look. So you can see that on day 1, these are our total changes in money, negative $90,000. And we can scroll up and down through the list. Okay, day 2, we had $28,750 in loan interest. We also had $3706 in field costs, that is to lease that field. Okay. Day 3 and day 4. All right. If we go under field management, you can see we have 26 days left on our lease. And again, it's $37.05 per day. All right, we have 12 days of loan. We are in what day? Day 5. All right, let's some fast forwarding action. All right, so we're in day 6. Day 7. Day 8. Day 9. Day 10. Okay, we can see our loan interest is still the same. Day 11. Day 12, and we're going to stop here briefly. Okay, it's going to take a while for the in-game message notifications to catch up. So let's just go up here. We are in day 12. Okay, we had 12 days to pay off our loan. Our loan's been active for 11 days. Okay, you can see every day. Let's scroll down here. Every day we're paying 28,750 in interest up through day 11. Okay, let's fast forward again. Oops, hitting the wrong keys. All right, there we're day 12, I believe. Let's check. So loan active for 12 days. We have 12 days life on our loan. Okay, finance history. Day 12 is 27, but we are now in day 13. So let's see what happens. Oh, wrong again. So we are going to get hit with some major interest. Bam. Now we are negative $13,000. We just got rocked with interest. Okay, looks like we didn't. We're going to be hit. I think what we got going on is we're in that Goldilocks period of overdraft of 2 days. So let's get out of that. I feel like we're in that that movie Time Machine with the day-night cycles just flying by. All right, so now look, we're getting life of loan expired. Please pay back. Life of loan expired. Please pay back. Um, Other than it being a little annoyed at us, we don't get. We don't get. I was eventually waiting for basically somebody to come in and say, you know what, we bought field 8 from you because you haven't been paying back, but they never did that. So they never repossessed any land. They never repoed any property. I think that would be pretty cool. Is if we don't pay a loan off on time, then they start taking fields away from us to get their money back. So we've now been active for 17 days. We've paid $625,000 in interest. Okay. Day 15, we paid $86,000 in interest. Day 16, $86,000 in interest. 17, the same thing. Okay. So you can see where this Goldilocks period ended. We went from 28,750 to 86,000. We had our 12-day loan. We had 2 days of overdraft grace. Okay, and then we had the hammer come down on us of 10% plus 5%. You can see now our base rate is 15% per day of 575,000. Okay, loan details, edit loan. We can't buy back. We can't repay any loan. We don't have any money. All we can do is get further in debt. The only way to possibly get out of debt is to sell off our fields. Let's cancel our lease. We still have negative $91,000, so we are basically bankrupt unless we sell our equipment and can get out of debt in some way. I suppose we could just run a whole bunch of missions, but know that every day hereafter we're going to be $86,000 additional in debt. So while the Bank of Hagenstedt is a cool mod, lets you get a lot of money quick, lets you really get a jump start on your game. You best be paying attention to what's going on as far as the life of the loan, how many days you've got to pay it back, and what's going to happen if you go over that Goldilocks period after your original loan, because you could get hit with some major fees. Um, but the leasing aspect is really cool to be able to lease a field. I could see where you might want to look. I could see where you would look here at the um, which fields are ready to harvest. All right, 16 is ready to harvest. Well, let's see what's growing in field 16 right now. All right, field 16 is wheat. Okay, so let's see here. What's wheat selling for? Yeah, wheat's selling for 816,000. All right. Well, then how much do they want to lease field 16? They want $5,771 to lease field 16 right here. Well, if I pay $5,771 to lease that field, if I then harvest it and sell the crop immediately, I should make more than $5,771, and the difference is profit, and then I can cancel my lease. So I basically just leased a field, harvested, made some money, and got rid of the thing, moved on. So I could see where you could really make a living just leasing fields when they became ready to harvest, and basically selling crop. If there's a great demand, I would look and see what fields are ready to harvest with that product, lease them, and harvest the heck out of them things, especially if the great demand was a really good price. Maybe you are desperately low on straw, and you've got cattle, or you've got sheep, or not sheep, pigs, and you need straw, and you want to keep the productivity up. Well, then maybe you lease a field with wheat or barley in it, and you basically got straw. So you can see where the Bank of Hagenstedt really does introduce a new gameplay element. If you haven't tried it out, I really strongly suggest you give it a spin, but just be really careful about that loan amount, because it can get really easy to borrow a whole lot of money, but then not have the means to repay it in time. So, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like button. If you've got any comments, put them below. If you've got any other mods that you're interested in knowing the nitty-gritty on, you'd like for me to do a how-to video on, just put those in the comments, and I'll take a look at that. Until next time, check you guys later.